You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. I'm Thomas Grooms, and our guest this morning is Gary Duncan, founding member of Quicksilver Messenger Service. And this morning's topic is rock and roll's main event, which is taking place over the Labor Day weekend. Good morning, Gary.
Morning.
Rock and roll's main event is probably the most industrious and best-planned concert festival in history, according to some sources. How'd you get involved with the main event?
They just called us up and wanted us to play it. That's about it. Oh, it was the main event. I thought it was a wrestling match at first.
This is tied into muscular dystrophy and Jerry Lewis's Telethon, right?
Yeah.
And I understand it's the 25th anniversary of the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Yeah, 25 years of muscular dystrophy.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they'd have it by now, but they don't.
Well, one good benefit of this concert is that 10% of ticket sales will go directly to MD, and the event will be nationally televised, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Gary, you decided to reform Quicksilver Messenger Service. How'd that come about?
Just basically out of, we like to play. Period. Like to play and write songs and record, and we're lazy and we don't want to get jobs.
Well, there must have been a lot of, arduous work that went into that.
Oh, yeah, we've been working real hard for quite a while, on recording and, getting the group together. We got a pretty good group now. By the way, I have to mention, you're getting to be a star out here on the coast, boy. Atomic Thomas Grooms, the man in the street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everybody asks the question, how do men get so much nature?
Where is the concert site for rock and roll's main event?
It's in Glen Helen, which is somewhere in Southern California. Southern California is like one great big old giant flat small town, so it's down there someplace.
Well, let's talk about the stage that they're going to provide for the performers. It's supposed to be 120 feet wide.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's supposed to be very, very technically state-of-the-art. Have you seen the stage yet?
No, I haven't seen anything. I'm just going to go in and play. If it's 120 feet wide, we could get a lot of people up there.
Well, who's going to be playing with you?
Let's see, it's me, David Freiberg, Michael Lewis, and Greg Rico on drums, who was the original drummer with Sly Stone. And the bass player's name is Bobby Vega, and Linda Imperial, and Kim Cataluna, background vocals. And you never know, a couple more people might show up, but that's the basic band at this point.
David Freiberg, of course, from the Jefferson Starship, right?
Jefferson Starship, and Quicksilver.
Well, you guys went into a studio and put some tracks down. Why don't we listen to something new from the new reformed Quicksilver Messenger Service? This is called...
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. Want to tell us something about it before we play it?
It's pretty well self-explanatory. It's actually a dirty song, but it's disguised.
Well, let's listen to that and come back and talk some more, okay?
Okay.
You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. Our guest this morning is Gary Duncan, founding member of Quicksilver Messenger Service. And Gary and his band are going to be playing at rock and roll's main event taking place Labor Day weekend to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association, the 25th anniversary of the Jerry Lewis Telethon. This is all in conjunction with that. We talked a little bit about the stage and quite an impressive lineup of acts that are going to be playing. A lot of 60s alumni, right?
Oh, there's tons of people. It's supposed to be 45 superstars.
I understand the Chambers Brothers are going to play?
Chambers Brothers, the Coasters, the Strawberry Alarm Clock, the Tokens, the guys that did Lion Sleeps Tonight, all these people that you haven't seen in years, and they're all still alive and still playing. It's amazing.
A couple of our disc jockeys from K-Rock, Flo and Eddie, are going to be there too.
Flo and Eddie, yeah, that'll be great. They're always a lot of fun, those guys.
How about Eric Burden? Is he going to be there?
Eric Burden and Robbie Krieger are playing together, I think.
What kind of combination is that going to be?
And we'll see. Probably be great.
Well, what kind of tunes are you going to do on stage?
Oh, we're going to do basically all the new material, and we may throw in one old tune just to keep everybody happy, but I like to do as much new stuff as possible.
There was a quote in Rolling Stone magazine recently by a member of the Grateful Dead saying Quicksilver was one of the best live bands ever to grace a stage. How do you feel about that?
I didn't read it, but I heard about it. To have anything in Rolling Stone about us that's good is a shock to me. You know? But no, I think that was Mickey Hart that said that. We used to play a lot with those guys back in the old days. In fact, we were double billed with them most of the time, and we had our moments.
Mm-hmm. You played with Janis Joplin also, didn't you?
Yeah, we played with Janis a lot.
Any memories of that you want to share with us this morning?
About Janis?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, everybody's seen Janis, and that's just about where Janis was at. You know, Janis was about, you know, you see the pictures of Janis singing and the stories about Janis, and Janis lived up to her legend. I have to say that. She was a sweetheart.
You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. Our guest this morning is Gary Duncan, founding member of Quicksilver Messenger Service, and Quicksilver will be playing rock and roll's main event happening Labor Day weekend to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And if you can't make it out to California in the concert site, you can probably see it on television. It will be nationally televised. There is a phone number that you can call if you'd like more information. I think it's 714-625-ROCK. You think they'll be making an album of this concert?
I don't really know. There wasn't anything mentioned about it, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. One of the greatest piano session players, Nicky Hopkins, who played with Jeff Beck and the Stones and Steve Miller, was a member of Quicksilver. How did that happen?
I left the band for about a year, and back in '69, and they got Nicky to come in and play piano, and then he was in the group for about, I guess 2.5 years altogether. We did 2 albums together. He's a great player. He's probably one of the best technical keyboard players that ever lived. You know, you can hear him play and see that, and he's great. And he's doing real well these days, too. I saw him about a month ago, and he looks healthy and happy, and he's smiling, and it's always good to see that. He's playing better than ever. Did
you guys play at all?
We played a sort of a memorial for John Cipollina when he passed away, and Nicky was there, and we all played together, and it was great to play with him again. Maybe doing some playing here in the future.
Well, why don't we listen to a Fresh Air and come back and talk some more?
Okay. Hi, this is Gary Duncan from Quicksilver. You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK.
Our guest this morning, Gary Duncan, founding member of Quicksilver Messenger Service, and we're talking about rock and roll's main event, which supposedly is probably the most industrious and best planned concert festival in history, because they started back on this about a year ago, putting the concert together, and there will be acts from the 50s right up through the 90s, right, Gary?
Yeah, there's 45 people, 45 groups.
At the show, the main event, rock and roll's main event, the Mamas and the Papas have been reincarnated also, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got Spanky McFarlane singing Cass Elliott's spot, and I think it's Denny, and I don't know who else is in it. Phillips' daughter's doing it? Yeah. No, they're going to be doing the show, I think. Mamas and Papas? Or is it going to be Spanky and our gang?
Both of them?
Both of them, yeah.
You played with them at Monterey, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of people from that era, right up to the...
there's tons of people, man.
Yeah.
It's like, we had a press conference, and there was as many people there as he could get. Tanya Tucker, what's the guy? Billy
Preston.
Billy Preston. Then there's the Coasters, like I said, Strawberry Alarm Clock.
And the Killer. The Killer's going to be there. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Be there, so we all get to see if Jerry Lee Lewis and Jerry Lewis are actually the same guy. You know. And let's see, the guy from
Fats Domino.
I didn't know about Fats Domino. If Fats Domino is going to be there, that would be great.
And Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels.
Mitch Ryder, the Detroit Wheels. A lot of people.
And Richie Havens, the guy who did a Quicksilver song, What About Me, right?
It was Richie?
Richie Havens is on the bill.
Richie's supposed to be playing. Yeah, it should be pretty good. I mean, you know what's happening now, really, in the business, is that people who can actually play instruments and sing are becoming few and far between.
Well, you've seen Milli Vanilli too, huh?
Huh?
You've seen Milli Vanilli also.
I've seen him. I don't really want to, but I mean, according to what I've been told by people in the business, that it's just finally reached a point now where there's a demand for just plain old music.
I hear that tape recorders are really in demand.
Yeah, people recording live stuff. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they just go out and play and put a tape recorder behind them.
Yeah.
No band.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. In fact, the guys that I've been dealing with in L.A. with this Atlantic thing, they own a studio called Cherokee Studios. It's a big studio in L.A. And the owner was telling me, he's an engineer. He said they had a guy, and he says, I won't mention his name, but he's got about 9 platinum records. A producer came in to cut a live band. And he said he got a phone call from down the studio. They needed some help. He said, I went down, and the guy asked me, where do you put the microphones for drums? Because I've never recorded drums before. And he said that was real, that really set him off. He said, it's time to get back into business again because they don't even know how to record instruments. So things may be looking up for us old guys that can still play.
And this is a 3-day event.
3 days, all day and all night.
Mm-hmm. And the phone number that people can call, 714-625-ROCK, if they want more information. What future projects are in the works for Quicksilver Messenger Service?
Well, we've got a new album that should be out within the next 3 or 4 months. And hopefully that'll do well. I'd like to tour Japan and Europe and Australia and the United States and the Middle East, everywhere. Go play some music that might help things out a little bit.
You guys did a tune called Time to Shine.
Yeah.
Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there's not much to say. You can listen to it, and the words are pretty self-explanatory there, too. It's about time to shine. If somebody doesn't start shining pretty soon, things are going to get real dark.
Why don't we listen to that and come back and talk some more?
Okay. Hi, this is Gary Duncan from Quicksilver. You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK.
Our guest this morning, Gary Duncan, founding member of Quicksilver Messenger Service, one of the heavy bands from the 1960s. Probably the word improvisation is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Quicksilver and the Grateful Dead. How did Quicksilver start?
We just all sort of fell together in a basement over in San Francisco back about 1965 or 66, and over in North Beach with the Beatniks. And we just, we were all musicians, and we just wanted to play, and most of us really didn't care about making records or anything else. We just wanted to be able to play music and not have to deal with a lot of the normal stuff associated with being an artist. But that didn't last too long. Along came the media, and along came the flower power, and the next thing you know, it was history.
How about when you played with the Grateful Dead? Do you have any stories to share with us about that?
There's probably a lot of them. There was, we had a lot of fun playing with those guys. In fact, back, in the 60s, in the mid to late 60s, before everybody went on the road all the time, we played it together a lot. The Grateful Dead and the Jefferson Airplane and us and Big Brother and the Holding Company and Moby Grape and all those groups, we used to play together all the time. So we got to know each other real well. It was like hometown bands, and then all of a sudden everybody signed record contracts and went on the road, and now we hardly ever see each other anymore. Once in a while I see Mickey Hart from the Dead. But well, there's a lot of stories. We used to all live together on a big farm out in the country, and the Grateful Dead had one too. And we just used to have wars. We'd go and steal their women, take their cars, hold them up with guns. And, it's a lot of fun. Take their stuff.
What about the song Steve McQueen? What is it called?
Steve McQueen is Looking Out for Us.
Yeah, how did that come about?
It was a joke. Me and Gordon were sitting around. See, he comes out to see me, and he laughs at all my jokes because he's my buddy.
Now, I'm glad I ran into Ronnie. I went to high school with Ronnie.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Well, he's real proud of you, too.
Yeah, he's a good
we're
guy.
We're rooting for you out here.
We meet each other on the Beltway all the time. Ask him about that.
Yeah, So usually what happens is I get on a songwriting jack, and when he's out here, I'll write 4 or 5 tunes, you know. And so I started writing that one as a joke, and it turned out to be a real good song. I really like that song a lot.
My kids liked it.
Yeah, everybody does. It's, you know, well, you know, it's like this. When I was growing up, you know how we all got movie stars and, you know, male role models, if you want to call them that. Steve McQueen was about the only one of those guys out of it. It was Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Marlon Brando, when I was a kid. Steve McQueen was the only one I could really identify with because he wasn't that good looking. You know, he seemed more like a normal human being. And anyway, I always liked Steve a lot. So I started out with Davy Crockett, but Davy Crockett burned out real quick.
I feel like I ought to be sitting in front of the filling station eating peanuts.
Hi, this is David Freiberg of Quicksilver Messenger Service. You're listening to 106.7 FM WJFK, Washington's best mix of rock and roll.
Well, hopefully you're going to have a lot of fun at this Labor Day concert, rock and roll's main event.
Oh, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be people there that I haven't seen in years and years, you know. And 45 acts in 3 days. That should be worth the money.
And the most important thing, Gary, is that 10% of ticket sales go directly to MD.
Yeah, and that is the most important thing. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's really good to be able to play and know that the money's going to go somewhere and help somebody out, because the way things are these days, everybody needs some help, especially those little kids.
Exactly. We appreciate you giving us a call here on the Capitol Review this morning, and hope you have a happy and safe Labor Day and a great concert and great weather for it out there in California.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work back there, Thomas.
And I hope you'll keep us posted with an update as far as how Quicksilver Messenger Service is doing.
I'll do it.
All right. Gary Duncan of Quicksilver Messenger Service, thank you once again for joining us live from rock and roll's main event in San Bernadino, California, on this week's edition of the Capitol Review. WJFK, Manassas, Washington.